Hello, business building warrior. Welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio, the podcast that features fantastic interviews with real people like you, in many cases who had zero e-commerce experience and went on to build beautiful businesses. That's what we do for most of our episodes is we interview the successful business building warriors, your fellow listeners to this show, who've done great things, and they share their insights, strategies, the blood, sweat, tears, the risk, the work, the sacrifice, and the triumphs of building your own business using the internet creatively. If you weren't aware, there's a whole bunch of useful free links, free stuff, and great other resources at silentjimdotcom. Go there if you haven't before. Lots of good stuff for you. Hey, today's episode, as we're approaching Christmas, Merry Christmas, by the way. Hope it's a beautiful season for you and your family, celebrating together. Whatever your holiday plans are, I just hope that they're fantastic for you and your crew. I know we've got a lot of big plans around here for our family as well. And it's just a special time of the year. But I think as business builders, especially as Amazon sellers, which many listeners to this show are, and we certainly are as well, it's a strange mix of excitement and seeing some big numbers, as well as trying to make sure that you don't miss the season because you're just so busy. It's a busy shopping season. And so those of us who sell stuff that shoppers buy, it gets a little crazy. Good news is Amazon is a year-round opportunity. The way we teach it here, especially in the Proven Amazon course, it's a year-round opportunity, meaning we sell boring, everyday, normal stuff that it's going to be just as much in demand January, February as it was in December. And we see many, many sellers in our community who have a better January than they did December, even though shoppers are going nuts in December where they get the gift cards and shopping continues and January is awesome. It's a year-round business finding the underserved shelf space at Amazon and bringing those boring items to market on the shelves, which is, again, our foundational model here. That's where the vast majority of the hundreds of success stories that you've heard on our show, that's where they came from, is that foundation. So if you've been around a while, you know all these things, and just kind of getting the new folks up to speed. Got some big news to report just here in the last couple of weeks. There were some results that rolled out on the industry. There was a survey conducted by Scott Needham. He's the guy that started Smart Scout, has a large successful community as well, a large event and podcast in the space. And they did a survey asking as many sellers as wanted to participate, thousands from all over the world participated, Amazon sellers, and they wanted to know who the top performers were in the industry in several categories. Well, I'm excited to report that we were voted the number one podcast among thousands of Amazon sellers who voted among the, I don't know, there's a couple hundred Amazon related podcasts out there. We were voted number one. So thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for voting for us if you voted. Pretty cool to know that all this hard work around here as we approach 1,000 episodes has been noticed. And I know we've certainly heard the success stories and heard the accolades from the students in our community, but to be recognized in the industry, that's pretty cool. So beyond just having the best podcast, number one rated podcast, we also have the best group. We were voted as the best group. We were voted as the best event for resellers in the space. That's the Proven Conference. If you're not aware of that event, it's the longest running annual Amazon seller event in the space. Our next one is in May of 2025. Get your tickets now, lock in, make plans, plan to be there. The event is taking shape earlier than it ever has this year. So much excitement. Hundreds of people already have their tickets. Theprovenconference.com is the website. We're going to have multiple breakout sessions, and we don't bring in outside experts. These are all people from our community who have built beautiful businesses, sharing with each other in breakout sessions and discussion groups what's working right now. It's an event unlike anything else you've experienced, and you just simply need to be there. It's going to be in Orlando the last 3 days of May 2025. Come a few days early. We got workshops beforehand. We got people staying late. We're right next to SeaWorld. It's going to be a lot of fun stuff going down. We got great hotel rates. We've got a resort right next to SeaWorld, the DoubleTree, and we're paying about a third of what we should be for those rooms, about $100 a night. It's crazy with the deal they're making because they love our group, and they gave us an even better deal this year than they did when we held our event last time at their resort. So look into it at theprovenconference.com. So back to the awards. Okay, we got recognized for a YouTube channel, Jimmy Smith's YouTube channel. We got recognized for the Proven Amazon course, provenamazoncourse.com. That's our flagship seller training. So we were voted at the top of the industry in several categories, and we're very proud of that. So I just wanted to take a minute to remind you, hey, you're smart for doing your research, for finding the group that actually produces success stories. That's what we're the most proud of. It's not our popularity. It's not how many clicks and likes and followers we can get. It's how many success stories we can generate. That's how we measure our success. And I think that's why we've received so many accolades from the industry, is because we're good at what we do. We've got a lot of success stories. This is the only podcast that has hundreds of interviews with the successful students following the program that's taught on the show. Pretty cool stuff. Well, I've got a top 10 list for you today, and I'd love to go through it. It's top 10 tips for Amazon sellers, for e-commerce warriors, for that matter, as we head into 2025. The new year is upon us, and I know for a lot of folks, that's very significant to kind of reset, refresh, think through. I do a little bit of that myself, but I don't really emphasize it a whole lot. But it is a good time for a top 10 list, because there are some things that we could all think about. I think this is going to be very valuable, even if you're not a New Year's resolution kind of person. I just tried to identify 10 valuable insights that I guarantee about half of these at least are going to apply to you. You're going to think to yourself, yeah, I probably could do a little more of that. Yeah, that makes sense. And these are based on both timeless wisdom. I've had 22 years of e-commerce experience at this point. I've applied a lot of timeless biblical business principles into our business, things that work, things that consistently will help you get to a better place. This is a top 10 list that hopefully challenges you, but it's also fairly specific to Amazon sellers on some of the weaknesses that we see among the people who are struggling. If your business isn't quite where you want it to be, this list might help remind you of where you need to be focused, what things you need to work on to get your business to where you want it to go. So I put together a list. Let's go through them. I probably put the full list, at least a shortened version of it, in the show notes if you want to reference that. And there'll be some links that I'm mentioning as we go through this as well that will be useful. Those will all be in the show notes if you want to reference that at some point. You can just go down there and click those links. So you don't have to write everything down as we're doing this. Okay, let's get into the list. The number one, and these are in no particular order. It's not like it's building to a crescendo here. I just kind of put them down a bit randomly. But the first tip I have, especially if you're an Amazon seller, especially if you're following the replens model that so many are around here, helping fill the underserved shelf space at Amazon's hundreds of warehouses. We've identified so many creative ways to do that in our training, dozens of different ways. But it all comes down to one big factor. It all pivots on finding new ASINs. Every new ASIN, every new listing that you add into your catalog, it's going to be working now, ideally, but you're going to want to keep an eye on it and hopefully revisit it. And when it's viable again later, sell that same ASIN again. But you've got to be building your catalog of ASINs. So that's my number one tip. Keep finding test-worthy ASINs. I've actually got a gift from my good friends, Brian and Robin Joy Olson. If you're watching on YouTube, it's not important if you can't see. I'm holding up my mug that says, keep calm and test more ASINs. It's a bit of a motto around here. Anytime something happens with your accounts, you're frustrated, you're not getting the results you want, something weird happens, that's all right. You lose a brand, you lose an ASIN, get some weird news about your account. It's okay. Keep calm. Keep finding more ASINs. Your catalog of ASINs is the asset that you're building here, and your ability to then monitor that catalog and put the good ones back out there for sale. That is the replens model that we love to see. And that, again, as a reminder, that's just the foundational model. We don't say that's the only business that you should ever be interested in on Amazon. That's the starting point business where we start everyone who's new and green and inexperienced or unconfident. Some people stay right there, which takes me to my second point in a moment. But some people build multiple million-dollar businesses with that model, selling other people's boring items, filling the underserved shelf space. But it boils down to finding good ASINs, learning how to do that, learning to use the tools and the strategies that we teach in the Proven Amazon course. We're doing just that. It's a beautiful model. We've got hundreds of interviews with our students who've done it. But let's move on. You may have already known that, but keep finding more ASINs. That solves so many problems. Number one tip. Number two, build systems and automate. This is a big reason why 14 years ago, so many of us got excited about Amazon as opposed to eBay. Have you ever thought about that? Why are so many sellers so much more interested in Amazon than eBay? Well, not only are there more shoppers there, yes, you can sell more items quickly there, yes, but the biggest reason, in my opinion, that Amazon is the superior opportunities because it can all be automated. With eBay, you can't automate. You can't step away from 3 weeks for 3 weeks. Every Amazon seller out there right now could step away for 3 weeks if they had to. Now, it might slow the sales eventually. Probably need to have someone check in on the account health, but it's not like there's certain things that have to be done today. Now, if you're doing merchant fulfill shipping, obviously you can, but you can put your account on vacation mode and not do anything. You don't have to monitor it. You don't have to run to your garage and ship something every time something sells. Amazon can be fully automated, not only through their warehouse system, FBA, where you send all your inventory to an Amazon warehouse, but there's workflow softwares now. You can hire virtual assistants to do the parts of your business that you don't want to do. One of my mottos for over 20 years when it comes to automating and building systems and setting multiple income streams in place has been, ask yourself constantly, am I the only one that could be doing what I'm doing right now? If not, at some point, as my process is profitable enough to justify it, I need to put someone else in that role, into that position. You do that over an extended period of time, you end up with multiple systems, multiple profitable systems that you monitor from a distance, but you're not the one doing the day-to-day work. You're building, you're automating. It could be people or it can be software tools that automate these systems. It can be services. It could be a third-party warehouse that you ship your stuff to and they prep it, inspect it, prep it, package, send it into Amazon with your stickers on it, right? So there's all kinds of ways to automate. Am I saying automate everything now? No. I'm saying once it's profitable, once it's established, once it's bolted down and you understand the moving parts, then you hand it to someone else, which is adding some expense to the equation, obviously. But you're giving them a portion of the profits that you would have made had you kept it yourself. So you're going to make a little less money on that system, but you're going to free up your time to launch other systems. That's the multiple income stream strategy. It's not about having 1,000 things going and you're in charge of all of them. No, it's about putting good systems, good people, good tools in place to manage the profitable systems that you use to manage yourself. And that is very easily done systematically, easier now than it's ever been as we head into 2025. Start thinking systems and processes instead of thinking your routines and your schedule. Offload the profitable systems onto someone else systematically, slowly, without taking big risks. Bring others in. One of the best ways to do that right now that has just become possible for the first time since Amazon launched is to use the system. Go to silentjimdotcom/the system to see what I'm talking about. If you've been listening to our podcast, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Kang built a $3 million business that was completely automated using a couple virtual assistants, 1.5 people in his warehouse. That just means one of them was part-time. He didn't have half a person. He didn't have an elf helping him at Christmas. No, 1.5 full-time and a part-time, 2 virtual assistants. And he built a beautiful business, $3 million replens business running with his software called 3P Mercury that we talk all about at silentjim.com/the system. There's never been a better time to jump into our community, learn the basics of this business model, set about automating it using a complete workflow system that monitors all of your old ASINs and tells you when it's time to go take a look at them again. It helps you receive your items. And I won't go too deep into this, but there's just so many great features of this. Let's say you order 30 units of a product and it comes in 7 now and 8 later and 5 the next day. Keeping it all associated with the correct ASIN can be a real challenge. Knowing when you've received all of it, those types of things, those little parts that can just tie up your day looking for product. Where is it? The workflow system set up by Kang is phenomenal. He's a software engineering genius who has automated this process to the point where when he wants to run his business, his only role is to check his stats on his smartphone. That's it. That's his role. The rest of it runs automated. He just decides how much money he wants to put in to buying new inventory that goes into the machine, and then those ASINs are tracked. He knows when it's time to get more. It's a beautiful thing. So build systems. That's the bigger point. Number 2, build systems, automate. Take advantage of the software, the tools, the resources that are available to you. And that's a lot of the value of having a coach, is helping you do those things as well. We've got great coaching. We'll talk more about that maybe towards the end of the program today. But let's get on to number 3. This belongs prominently on any power tip list that I could put together as we head into 2025. I don't know how good you are about building relationships, but you need to be doing more of it. You can never do too much of it. There's no ceiling to how aggressively you should be about pursuing new relationships, new contacts, having conversations, reaching out to people in the group, forming mastermind groups, getting into our Facebook group and seeing who lives near you. We've got a great post in our Facebook group. I'll give you a shortcut link. You can use this link. It'll take you right into our Facebook group. There's 78,000 people approximately there. Odds are there's a few people in the city where you live that you could connect with who are into e-commerce, into Amazon selling, and you need to meet with them in person, get together, do lunches. You need to do more of that. It's not just because it makes you a better person, which is true. It's not just because we all need to engage more and get off of our phones a little bit more, which is true. It's primarily from a business standpoint because you're going to make more money. You will have more money in your bank account if you make a concerted effort to do what I'm suggesting you do right now. You're not doing enough of it. Many of us know instinctually that's true. If you do more of it, you're going to make more money because you're going to be exposed to more opportunities. The information you have in your head, the knowledge you have, experiences you have is very valuable to others, and that will become more apparent as you meet with them. You have unique connections and talents and gifts and experiences in your past that others lack. There's value in that synergy of connecting with others. You need to do more of it. So there's a link I'm going to give you here. It'll be in the show notes as well. silentjim.com/near me, as in who lives near me. That'll take you right to a post in our Facebook group that gives you instructions on how to find out who lives near you. So do that if you haven't done it before. Jump in. The post is, I think, 1.5 years old at this point, but every day or so, there's people jumping in there, participating, finding who lives near them. It's a great way for you to start that process. Another great way, come to our event in May. I already told you about it. It's the Proven Conference. The website again, theprovenconference.com. It's shaping out beautifully. Bring your family. It's a family-friendly resort, family-friendly event. Bring your kids, a lot of homeschool families. It's going to be a great time. So let's plan on doing that together. So build relationships, build your connections. That's my tip number 3. Number 4, avoid making any really, for lack of a better word, stupid mistakes. More than ever, right now, having a healthy Amazon seller account is as valuable as it's ever been, even if it's sitting dormant. Now, speaking of which, we see the market for people who sell their dormant Amazon accounts. The prices that they're commanding are ridiculous, because having a healthy account where you haven't done anything stupid that you shouldn't have done is a very valuable asset. Actually, there's an organization we've worked with, a sponsor of our community. They've helped hundreds, maybe thousands at this point, I'm not sure, but hundreds and hundreds of sellers at a minimum either buy or sell an existing Amazon account, even a dormant account with no inventory. Go to silentjim.com/buy or sell. Squish the words together, silentjim.com/buy or sell. And that's a link to the service that can help you with that. And you can get evidence of just how valuable your account is, even sitting dormant. But the reason I say avoid making mistakes is because it's easier to make mistakes now. Going into 2025, Amazon has more rules than they've ever had. It's easier to accidentally cross the line. The nice thing is Amazon's getting more consistent on enforcement, meaning it's getting harder and harder to look around and say, well, that guy over there is doing it and he's doing it, so why can't I do it? Amazon's getting consistent about enforcing their policies. There's less and less examples of people who are, quote, getting away with things that you can't get away with. They're really cleaning things up. But that also means for those of us who are well-informed, who aren't making silly errors, who aren't making bad decisions, who are being well-coached, well-mentored in the space, our accounts are more valuable than ever. And you need to take advantage of having the opportunity to have a valuable asset like a clean Amazon seller account by paying attention to the rules, knowing what's up. And we've got a great post that I'm going to send you to, again, silentjim.com/mistakes. silentjim.com/ mistakes. If you go to that link, it's a Facebook post in our free Facebook group that lists out, it's about 15 things that we see, especially new sellers doing. They think it's okay. They saw a YouTube video that told them it was okay, or instinctually they think, oh, that's got to be fine. I think I saw someone else doing that. But what they're really doing is they're undermining their future success. They're chopping the legs out from underneath any potential to have a real business at some point. So you want to avoid those mistakes. So when I say number 4 tip is avoid mistakes, that's what I mean. If you want to go further faster and avoid those things that can derail you, again, getting some good, high quality, step-by-step encouragement and education, showing you the system that we've showed others. That's the proven Amazon course. There's a link to it at silentjimdotcom, or get a coach, better yet. We'll talk more about that here in a couple minutes, who coaching is right for. But if you want to go further faster without making big mistakes, you don't go on instinct, don't go on what you heard or read in a forum somewhere. Use Amazon's own policies. Get in there, read them, know them, understand them. Don't make silly decisions about your account. And again, we've identified several of the most common mistakes we see people making, and we'd love to help you avoid them. All right, next, it's a strange one, but this is a timeless classic piece of advice. Anytime I see somebody struggling with their Amazon business, I'd like to ask them, are you journaling? Are you writing down your journey? Are you allowing your subconscious to process these things you're experiencing by taking pen to paper? I'm not talking about writing yourself an email. I'm talking pen to paper. Write it down, open it up, get a journal, document your journey. There's so much value there. And with the new year right around the corner, why not start your 2025 journal? Commit to it a few times a week. Some people do it every day. A gratitude journal every day in the morning. Very powerful. But at least document your business journey. Here's the things I'm struggling with. Here's the decisions I'm trying to make. Here's the new people I met. Here's what's working. Here's what's not. Just make a few notes. Over time, that's going to become an invaluable resource for you to go back and look at your growth. But it also allows your subconscious to be working on those challenges, even when you're not thinking about it. Have you ever woke up with a great idea? Do you want to do that more often? Journal. You'll do it a lot more often because your subconscious mind is engaged. And there's something about the physical act of writing on paper that we've lost. Do it. Try it for 3 months. If you do it and you feel like it was a total waste of time, please let me know. I've said that many times. I've never had anyone reach out to me and say, yeah, total waste of time. Everyone comes back and says, wow, that really was more helpful. Thanks for reminding me and encouraging me. You've heard it before. I'm not the first guy to suggest this. But if you're not doing it yet, why not start now? Start in a new year. Do more journaling, do more writing. We all need to do more writing. Doesn't that just resonate as I say that? You need to be writing more. And that's myself included. So that one's for me as well. All right, number 6, diversify. What do I mean by that? Well, this is that multiple income streams discussion. I'm not saying go launch 50 new projects. What I am saying is continue to automate so you can diversify. What are we more excited about around here? What are we excited about, I should say, besides Amazon around here? Walmart has really taken off. We're seeing a lot of people doing some pretty exciting things. If for no other reason, they're just taking the Amazon inventory that's not selling well for them for whatever reason, or came back, ineligible ASIN, the ASIN got shut down, whatever. You got some inventory you don't know what to do with, take it to Walmart, walmart.com. There's a window of opportunity right now for seasoned sellers, experienced sellers, people who've done a little on Amazon, a little on eBay, to sell on walmart.com. The doors are kind of wide open. Will it always be that way? I don't know. I don't think so. I'm sure there'll be a life cycle of that opportunity to get in as easy as you can get in right now. So set up a Walmart account. If you're new to the Walmart landscape, good news, we've got a great course and a great community that's built up out of that course for Walmart sellers. Go to provenamazoncourse.com/Walmart, and you can get in on that. Hey, sorry for the interruption, but I've got to remind you that Seller Board is the sponsor for today's episode, and they're doing such a tremendous job supporting this community and this podcast. So many happy users. Many of the leaders on our team use this tool. What does it do? Well, among many other great features, it helps you know which of your products are profitable. All those Amazon fees and expenses, you can finally know exactly how much money you're making on the different products that you're selling, which ones you should be paying more attention to, and which ones you should probably cut out. Don't use your intuition or instincts to make these decisions. Use a tool that tells you the numbers. Seller Board is very easy to set up. It's very thorough, very detailed, has a great reputation among many, many, many sellers in our community. Hundreds of us are using it. So thank you for sponsoring this community Seller Board. Jump over to silentjim.com/numbers and check out the offer they have for this community. Just a few dollars gets you started. Let's get back to today's show. Go to provenamazoncourse.com/Walmart, and you can get in on that. So I'm making myself a note, make sure I stick that in the show notes as well. I didn't have that one in my notes yet, but that is a great way to start your Walmart journey. We've got plenty of people expanding from doing retail replens into wholesale. We've got great training in the Proven Amazon course for that. We've got people going into consulting. We call it proven product partnering. When you help other brands get onto Amazon, there's great training in the Proven Amazon course for that as well. There's a lot of great modules inside the Proven Amazon course library on a lot of other business strategies besides just the foundational strategy that we teach and encourage all new sellers to get into. So as you begin to diversify, once you've got a profitable system, you need to be spending a little bit of time on multiple income streams, spreading out your risk, getting into new arenas, building a robust a robust collection of income streams where if one gets a little shaky, you've got the other one you can rely on. We love seeing sellers do that. Business building warriors need to have multiple income streams. And I'm not going to go into why that is. If you want to spend some time hearing my logic and why I think that's the case, it's based on 22 years of experience, but you can get into a free copy of my book where I talk about multiple income streams. It's called The Silent Sales Machine. That's the name of the book. And only older versions are for sale online. The only way to get it is to get it free from me. The newest version, version 11, is free. Go to silentjim.com/free11, free11, and that'll get you the book. And I talk a lot about multiple income streams and why I think it's so important and how to do it, the right way to approach it. So there's a good resource for you. As we talk about diversifying your income. Number 7. Ask questions. This is such a good one. John Maxwell has a book out. I'm not necessarily suggesting you run out and buy it, although it's a good book, but great leaders ask great questions, something like that. And I completely agree. And one of the things I think he mentions in that book, or at least I've heard it somewhere from someone I trust and respect, was never get so big in your own mind or so successful in your own mind that you stop asking stupid questions. You feel like, no, I'm the guy that's supposed to have the answers. I've been around a while. I've been doing this a while. I'm the guy that's supposed to know all the answers, not the guy asking questions, certainly not silly questions. Don't do that. Ask silly questions. I don't care how long you've been in the journey, what impression you're trying to make on others. Ask the silly questions. One of the reasons we love adding newbies, new sellers, inexperienced people into our community is because they don't have that resistance to asking silly questions. They say, I'm new. Of course, I'm going to ask questions. And they might be silly. I don't care. I'm new here. But the value of those is sometimes they open up insights that we just didn't know, wouldn't have even talked about otherwise. They make observations that were so obvious to them that have gone right over the heads of the experienced guys. We need those questions. We need those, why do we do it this way type of questions. You need to be asking questions constantly if you're going to lead and succeed. Don't assume you know all there is to know. One of my favorite examples of this is the number of very experienced sellers who said things like, yeah, Jim, I know all about reselling. I know all about retail arbitrage. I know all about buying something in the store and selling on Amazon. There's nothing you could teach me about buying something on a store and selling it on Amazon that I don't already know. It's all obvious. It's so simple. I get it. Buy it for 10, sell it for 20. If the ASIN looks good when I scan the barcode. I'm like, wait, scan the barcode. What'd you say? Like, yeah, I scan all kinds of barcodes. Say, time out. You've built your whole business scanning barcodes. There's a lot of sellers out there. That's what they do. They'll scan 500 barcodes hoping to find 2 or 3 winners. And they're looking just at the buy box. They've gotten so stuck in a rut that they don't realize that of those 500 products that they scanned and it came back as, oh, that's not a good price. If they just listed it for a higher price than what the current buy box is, odds are they could be making steady sales at a nice profit. But they assumed that the current buy box that popped up on the app they're using is the only price that they can rely on for that product to sell. That's a false assumption. They're not asking the right questions. They're not leaving their mind open to all the possibilities. We've proven it time and time again with our above buy box strategies around here. If you don't know what I'm talking about with above buy box, spend some time with me on a video. I'm going to give you the link here in just a moment. And I want you to go through, it's an example. I'll give you the brief overview. If you've listened to several episodes, you may have heard this example before, but we had a new seller come into our community, and within a few weeks, he sold 2,400 units of an item that he sourced through a retail store shelf. Now, if he scanned that item with a barcode scanner, it would have come back and told him he was nuts to even think about trying to sell one. Why is that? He sold 2,400 units. Every app out there, every research tool out there would have said, no, you're crazy. Don't even try to sell this. There were 200 other sellers selling the same item already. Most of them at the same price that he was about to pay to buy the item. But he sold 2,400 units very profitably. How? Well, he came in and listed at the highest price among all 200 sellers. That's right. If you sorted the sellers from top to bottom, highest price to lowest price, he was the highest priced seller, and he sold 2,400 units of that item. How did he know to price high? How did he know what opportunity was in front of him? He was willing to ask questions. He was willing to learn and study. He understood our above buy box strategy. And the good news is there's millions of ASINs right now you could be doing this with. Did you know that? We do it all the time around here. Many others do as well. If you want to see me go through a video where I demonstrate this principle to you, go to silentjim.com/1000. 1000. Just write down the 4-digit number. silentjim.com/1000. Free video, walk you through it, show it to you. I think you're going to love what you see. It's going to open up your eyes. It has to do with the fact that Amazon isn't a single central warehouse where shoppers go to find the best possible price on the things they want. Some shoppers treat Amazon that way, but a whole bunch of shoppers all day, every day, treat Amazon as a place where they can go to get the items they want as fast as possible. They don't care that they could save $8 if they were willing to wait 4 more days. That opens up a window of opportunity that few sellers are willing to pursue or understand, haven't been trained on. I'll state it this way before I move on. And then again, this is an example of you think you know it all, you don't know it all yet. I promise you don't when it comes to the opportunities on Amazon. Because today on Amazon, millions of shoppers bought items and paid far less than they were willing to pay to receive that item later than they were hoping they could receive it. They're going to have to wait longer than they wanted to, and they would have paid so much more if they could have gotten it faster. What's that mean? That was an underserved ASIN. That was a listing on Amazon that if there'd just been a seller out there that had helped populate the warehouse near that shopper would have paid more than they did to get it fast. That opportunity is so expansive. I don't think we've even begun to grasp it yet. I don't think Amazon's begun to grasp it yet, but we see evidence of it all day, every day in our community. That's the above buy box strategy, one of dozens of cool strategies you can play with to find great inventory. But don't assume you know it all. Ask questions. Be willing to learn constantly. There's so much we're going to be learning together in 2025. Great strategies coming our way. The Proven Amazon Course membership gets you a lot, and you're going to just absolutely love the new content and strategies and insights that we have coming for you. All right, let's move on. Number 8, get a mentor. If you want to go further faster, you need someone that can help you do that. If you've got the margin in your life, and what do I mean by margin? Sometimes people say, Jim, what do you mean you say if you've got the margin in your life, you should get a coach? Well, I mean your financial margin. Obviously, you need to be able to pay someone for their time. You need to have margin with your schedule. You need to have some space in your life. You can hire a coach, but if you don't have any time to practice and do what they say, that was a waste of time. You've got to have the emotional commitment. Yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to commit to the process. You've got to have the relational support. Does your spouse think you're crazy for spending more money on another crazy idea? Maybe now's not the time to invest in a great coach. But even if you can't afford a great coach from our team, you should still try to find somebody that can mentor you, someone who's been in business, someone local, someone ideally that you can meet with. You need to be mentoring someone else as well. That's going to keep you sharp. That's a life well lived and in balance is if you've got a mentor, you're mentoring someone else. Do that with your business. If you're not doing it, you're missing out. And I am so proud of our coaching program. It is, hands down, by any metric you want to throw at the industry, the number one e-commerce coaching program in the world. We've been doing it longer, more success stories. Our standard for having someone be a coach on our team is they have to be running a very successful business themselves. If they aren't, they're not eligible to be a mentor or coach on our team. They just can't do it. We got 60 of them right now. Great people, very knowledgeable. They're doing this stuff. They do it at a high level. They know our tools. They understand what it means to succeed in the environment that's been built here. And they can help you go further faster if you have the margin in your life. If you want to book a call with us to talk about that, go to silentjim.com/book a call. silentjim.com/book a call, all one word. Get on our schedule. There's also a phone number there. You can text us anytime if you'd like. That's tip number 8. Get a mentor. Don't do it alone. Speaking of being alone, a caution about e-commerce that maybe no one's ever thrown at you before. If you're trying to sit behind your computer and hit the right keys to make some money and put more money in the bank, and you're isolated and you're alone and you're away from contact with others, that's a very dangerous, toxic, burnout, lone wolf type of strategy that just doesn't work. Unfortunately, it just doesn't. We are designed for relationships. Even if you study biblical principles, you read where Adam and Eve, God said it was God when he was creating the universe was saying, it's good, it's good, it's good. He's creating all these things. And then the one time he says, oh, that's not good, is when Adam was alone. That's the first time we see it. It is not good for man to be alone. And it wasn't just talking about it's great for marriages to happen and spouses, to unite, come together. It wasn't just talking about that. In the original Hebrew of the original language that those words were written in, the concept means so much more than just marriage. It literally means if a person is isolated, that's a bad thing. Don't let e-commerce isolate you. I'm not saying you have to have a coach. I'm saying you need others in your life. A coach can certainly help fill that as well. But you don't need just a coach. The more, the better. The longer that list of names and contacts and connections you have, the people who do really well in this arena, I've observed it many, many times, are the people who have a large list of people that they love, trust, respect, who love, trust, and respect them, network, checking in, doing life together, attending events, sending them texts, staying in contact. Those are the people that succeed. Do not try to do this business alone. Just because it's e-commerce doesn't mean you can get away with breaking the rules of how we are designed. We are not designed to be alone. All right, I beat that one up enough. Get a mentor. We've got some good ones. Number 9, make sure you're carving out time to try and test new things. Constantly be testing new things. See, the way the internet changed things about, 25 years ago, it became possible to test small and find out if you had a viable idea. Up until that point in history, running a business meant going all in. It meant months or years of preparation and study and writing a business plan. When's the last time you heard anyone talk about writing a business plan? I mean, you can write the idea on a napkin now, but the way people used to start businesses was they'd have this complex business plan, 15, 18-page document. And the reason that was necessary is because it was a significant risk you're getting ready to take. And you better understand all the moving parts. And you're going to need a lot of money. And you're going to have to write some big checks. And you have to have a lot of people go all in. And you're all going to hope together that it works out someday. And I'm not anti that business model, but it's not the only business model in the room anymore. Now you have the opportunity, and this is tip number 9, to constantly be testing, running low-risk tests. That's what our replens model is at its heart. Remember, keep calm, test more ASINs. You're sending in inventory that you can reasonably expect. Worst case is you're going to get your money back. Best case is you find winners. I mean, you put more money into those winners. That's the model. Those little risks. The way the internet changed the game was it made it possible for you to take tiny risks to test new ideas. And I'm not just talking about Amazon. Start a YouTube channel if you don't have one yet. Start a group if you don't have one yet. Try some new things. Let people know in your area, hey, I do a little bit of e-commerce coaching and consulting on the side if you ever need any help. You never know what's going to happen, what'll come of it. Test new things. It's possible now with virtually no risk to test new ideas constantly. So what that ultimately means is you should be failing constantly at low risk endeavors. It only makes sense. 30 years ago, you didn't have the ability to test multiple ideas because they were so low risk, they were a dime a dozen. Minimum cost to even think about doing anything new in business was going to be $5, $10, $15, $30,000. Now you can test new ideas for $5 or just for the value of a few minutes of your time. Set up a YouTube channel, record some videos, record yourself doing things that you do. Talk about life, talk about things you're passionate about, talk about your business, appeal to the brands that you're selling on Amazon. Instead of being an anonymous seller of some of these brands, reach out to the brand, strike up a relationship, build a conversation. What's the worst that can happen? They say no. Okay, you move on. You do it with another brand. You say, hey, I would like to represent you more on Amazon, help you get onto Walmart, maybe even. Are you guys on Walmart.com yet? I can get you over there. They may be blown away that you can get them on Walmart. Yeah, sure you could. They could do it themselves easily. They just don't know that yet. Have those conversations. You're going to love where that takes you. So constantly be testing new things, constantly be having conversations with new people who aren't yet in your network. Carve out some time. Now, what you don't want to do with this is move away from the routines and systems that are your foundation. You've got to keep your foundation intact. So I'm not saying become distracted like a dog chasing multiple squirrels. No, you've got to have systems that are operating cleanly, commit to the routines, do the stuff you don't feel like doing. When it's got to be done, you do it anyway. But carve out some time very intentionally for testing new ideas, having conversations with new people. You get the point, I hope. In 2025, if it's not something you've used to doing, now's the time to do it. This is me saying, yep, time to start doing some of those things. Make them a routine part of your life. What's a good way to remind yourself to do this? Journal. If you have a front page of your journal, maybe that's a good place for you to write down 2 or 3 of the things that I've shared here today and say, okay, these are the things I need to kind of go back to default to when business isn't quite going the way I thought, or I'm not quite sure what I should be focusing on. Oh yeah, these are the things I committed to in 2025, along with whatever other personal goals you have. Maybe it's reading your Bible daily. Maybe it's, whatever else you feel like you need to be doing more of. Put those in the front, reference it frequently, keep yourself on track, and then journal your ability to stick to those things. But hopefully some of the list I've given you today will be helpful. And we're at number 10. And this is a weird one. You've heard people talk about gratitude before. It's a very cliche. Don't drown me out. Hear me first. Gratitude will put more money in your pocket, and I can prove it. You ever heard anyone say that before? We've all heard, well, you need to be a better person with gratitude. Okay, yeah, I agree. There's all kinds of great benefits that come with gratitude. But one of them is you're going to have more money in your pocket. You're going to have more money in your bank account. You're going to be more profitable if you practice gratitude. And I'll help you connect the dots on this if you don't know where I'm going with this. It's actually pretty formulaic. If you're, let's go, what's the anti-gratitude? Well, that's pessimism, that's doubt, that's negativity, that's hopping on Facebook only to complain, tell everybody how terrible things are, right? No one's attracted to that. No one's drawn to that. No one wakes up in the morning and goes, oh, there's too many good things in the world. I want to find some people who are complaining about things I've never heard complained about before, and I want to hang out with them. I want to be reminded of all the things I think are terrible, and I just want to hang out with people who are complaining about that. And now maybe you have an instinct that draws you into those kind of gossipy environments, but you're certainly not going to make any money there. But what's the opposite of that? Opposite of that is gratitude. And it's not just something you feel. It's not an emotion. It's not something that's out of your control. No, gratitude is a choice. It's an intentional choice. Something that is out of your control is optimism. Some people think, I can just decide to be optimistic one day. No, you can't. The way you turn on and ignite optimism within you, modern psychology even tells us this. It's thousands of years of biblical wisdom that goes into this as well. If you want to be more optimistic, gratitude is what you need. So intentionally focus on gratitude. If you're journaling, write it down. Even if it's the same 5 things you wrote down yesterday, write them down. I'm grateful for this. I'm so thankful to God for that. I can't believe that I'm so blessed to be able to have X, Y, and Z, right? And that's going to trigger inside of you this optimism that makes you someone that people want to be around, that they're drawn to. Guess what? People who are like that fall into the category that others like being around them. They're not repelled by them. They make more money. They just do. In business, especially, even in e-commerce, the way you present and carry yourself, even in Facebook groups, be the type of person that reports your good results. I'm so grateful. Look at the results of my business. Look where we're at. I still have a lot to learn. Yeah, I made a lot of mistakes. Yeah, sometimes I was frustrated at a few things, but look what we accomplished. So much progress since last year, 6 months ago, whatever. Share it. Share the positivity. Share it with gratitude. I'm not saying never bring your challenges. We love when helping solve challenges in our Facebook group. We do it all the time, all day, every day. But don't do it from a place of pessimism and negativity. Do it from a place of gratitude. And you can present a challenging scenario with gratitude. Actually, that's one of the leadership qualities that will make you so valuable, and others will recognize that. Like, hey guys, here's a challenge we need to figure out. I got a couple ideas, but what are you guys thinking? We need to let's see what everyone thinks and how they feel, how we're going to navigate this challenge. We're going to be stronger on the other side of it, but let's tackle it together. Versus, oh great, another one of the reasons why it's terrible to sell on Walmart. I can't believe that they just did this, or Amazon just basically destroyed all of us. Look what they just did. That kind of negativity takes money from your pocket. The kind of positivity, the kind of gratitude and optimism, that puts money in your pocket. It just does. I've seen the pattern for a couple decades now. I've built my business this way. I'd like to think that of the 100 plus major changes that Amazon has made over the last 14 years or so, as we've navigated them as a community, we've always said, well, okay, it's a little confusing right now, but let's wait for the dust to settle. I bet it's all going to be okay. And so far, we have a 100% track record of being right. Because guess what? Amazon wants to sell quality products to customers, and they want to have their shelves full of those great products from sellers that they know, like, trust, and respect. We're all heading in the same direction here. So the things that seem really weird or out of control or confusing, they tend to settle and clarify over time, pretty much over time, every time. It's like almost 100%. So when their sky is falling moment happens, just remember it's made new things possible, and it's all going to be okay eventually once it's all clarified. And the number of times that I've seen this happen over and over and over again, I'm able to stay so calm now because it's a pattern that's been pounded into my head. I just operate in gratitude, say, what does this make possible? When the dust settles, I'm sure there'll be some clarification. It's all going to be okay. And then you plow forward. That type of attitude, that's a leadership attitude that you can develop this year, and you will make more money. And it's all rooted and grounded, and the foundation of all of it is gratitude. So if you're not used to practicing gratitude, verbalizing it, writing it down, internalizing it, waking up in the morning, thanking God for that first breath you take, if you don't do those kind of things, you should be. And of all the other psychological and spiritual benefits that are well documented, one of them you probably haven't heard before is you'll make more money too. Hopefully that encourages and inspires you a little bit as we head into 2025. We are so blessed. Christmas is coming at us fast. If you're listening to this in real time, just what a great time of the year. I hope you're so blessed. Our family, we've got we've got 5 kids. My wife and I been married 30 years. So we got 3 kids, grown, married. 2 of them are pregnant right now with babies due in spring. We've already got 1 grandson who's turning 1 about Christmas time. Just an incredible, blessed season of life. So remember those things that make it all your why, the big reasons, the things that you're truly celebrating in your family and your health and all the things that you have. You should be able to list out at any given time 50 or 100 things that you're grateful for. And if you can't, if it's been a while since you did that, go through that process and just see what that births inside of you, especially this time of year. I think that would be a really good exercise. If it's been a while since you did something like that, write them down. It's a good way to start your journal. Just write down things you're thankful for. It could be tiny things, but we all have so much that we've been blessed with that we can be grateful for. Let that fuel you into the new year. We've got an exciting 2025 coming at us. So many great creative insights and strategies, tools that are coming at our community. We've been recognized as a leader in the space by so many influential names and voters around the world in the Amazon seller space. Huge honor. Thank you for being a part of all of it. You're the best part of this show. One little favor before I let you go. If you haven't done this, we'd love to get a review from you on iTunes. We love those iTunes reviews. That really helps us out. So if you take a moment, do that, or whatever platform you're watching on, leave us some feedback. Let us know what you like. If there's something you'd like to hear more of, We'd love to hear your feedback on that. Engage. This is your podcast. It's here to help you grow your business. We want to help you build a beautiful business of your dreams. Let's make it happen together. God bless you, business building warrior. Thanks for being a part of our community. We'll have another great episode for you very soon. Before I let you go, one last reminder to our incredible sponsor, Seller Board, thank you. And to our listeners, go check out the special offer they have for us. Hundreds of us use that tool to track our listings on Amazon and know which ones are profitable, which ones aren't, and a whole bunch of other really cool features. You can learn all about this inexpensive, easy to set up tool at silentjimdotcom/numbers. Go check them out. Tell them we sent you. We'll have another great episode for you very soon.